Hi and welcome. I'm Lisa. Thanks for joining me here on the Whimsy Stamps channel. Today is a new release day here at Whimsy, and I thought I would share one of my faves from this release, Fish Fancy. I love images like these. You can do so many things with them. You can color them with your alcohol markers, watercoloring, do no line coloring technique, stamping with different colors of ink, which is what I'm going to be doing. And I have 3 different ways to do that. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm stamping these onto 80-pound cardstock with a few of my favorite beach colors, coral, yellow, and for my neutral, I'm going to use gray. Now, once I have these stamped, I'll run those through the scan and cut. And you can see the fish that I just stamped and cut at the top of the screen there. Now, off screen, I ran one of the coral pieces from the Build an Ocean die set through my die cut machine with craft cardstock and cut that out 6 times. I also ran white cardstock through the die cut machine with the Wonky stitched rectangle die. Using that largest die, I cut 4 panels. So here you can see I'm doing a little bit of stenciling with that Swish stencil and sea glass ink with a blender brush. Now I want the heaviest application to be on the bottom left corner, and I'm going to fade that out toward the other edges of the panel. It's shifted on its side right now, so it looks like it's the bottom right corner, but once I shift it back up, it will be the bottom left corner. So anytime I start applying ink, I start in that bottom corner there, and then I start to lightly blend out towards the edges. And this is what we have. I am going to come in and go over that with just the ink and my blender brush to create a tone on tone effect for this. I want to take a little bit of that starkness from all the white. I want to take that down just a notch. Once I'm done stenciling, glue to the back of both of the stencil panels, and I'm going to go ahead and line them up on 2 A2 card bases. These are from sea glass cardstock. I created those myself. I'm going to take the next 2 panels, the white panels that I die cut, and I'm going to lightly stencil those in the bottom left corner. I don't want to do much stenciling on these because they're going to go on the inside of the card, and I want to make sure that I have plenty of room for my handwritten message. So just a tiny bit of stenciling to decorate the inside of that panel. Here I'm stacking 3 of the coral pieces together. We'll end up with 2 coral pieces after we stack all 6 of those, 2 stacks of 3. Now I'm ready to go ahead and start putting all of this together. And I thought the stacked coral was going to be enough dimension. I should have known better. I mean, I'm the queen of mounting foam dimension, so I should have known that was not going to be enough. So what I just showed you was clear double-sided tape, mounting tape from Gorilla Glue. Love the stuff. I take just a tiny bit of it, put it at the bottom of my coral pieces. You cannot see it through the coral pieces. A little glue to the top of the coral that's laying over the fish, and that helps hold it in place. I went ahead, arranged all of my pieces, stamped the sentiment from the Big Fishes sentiment stamp set, seized the day with Audrey blue ink, added some clear confetti sequins, and we're done with those cards. I stamped those fish onto a 3.5 by 8.5 piece of white cardstock using VersaFine Clair Morning Mist ink. It's a gray ink. Now, when I stamped the fish from the first cards and I ran those through the scan and cut, I saved the negative that I had left over so I could use it for my stencil to color these fish in. You will end up with a little bit of a halo around your fish. That does not bother me at all. I like the look of it. This card has a very artsy feel to it. Now, I wanted to create a wave down the front of my card to go along with these fish. So what I did was I grabbed one of the Wavy nested dies and I ran it through my die cut machine with some scrap paper. And I just took the positive piece, shifted it down a little bit to create that gap you see, and then I secured that in place with some Scotch tape. I want to hold that in place while I'm stenciling. So now I'm going to use nautical blue ink to go ahead and apply some waves all the way down the front of this panel. This is a great way for you to get more use out of your products. There you can see I went all the way down the front. Also, you probably noticed I didn't use a circular motion when I applied that ink. I did my usual pushing down and forward with that brush. And I didn't have to stencil off my images. Now, if you're not sure about that, you can stencil the images off and then add your waves if you want. I did go back over the fish with that makeshift stencil and added more ink to them just so they'd pop off a little bit more. This card definitely has that very artsy feel to it. Black fine liner pen around the edges. I stamped bubbles in 3 shades of blue on there from that Fish Fancy stamp set. Added my sentiment waving hello. Again, I used that same wavy nested die from Whimsy to cut that sentiment out and add it to the card with mounting foam. Now, the last card that I'm about to share with you, it's super simple and it would be so easy to mass produce because it's just stamping. That's all we're going to do. So I'm stamping the sentiment, just keep swimming. And I'm using VersaFine Onyx Black ink. I'm only using my Misty to help me keep that lined up across the bottom. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp this real quick. I knew stamping with my acrylic block would be so much faster. Now for this, I knew I wanted to be able to re-stamp this image if I needed to. I decided to go ahead and use the Misty. So I'm lining the fish up and we're just going to stamp it in rainbow colors. I'm using VersaFine Clair inks because I've said it before and I'll say it again. They give you the best coverage of any ink I have ever used. Here you can see all of the fish stamped in the rainbow. Okay, so let me know what you think about those rainbow of fish. I think it turned out so cute and like I said, super simple to create. Also, let me know what you think about the new release and the Fish Fancy stamp set. I really do appreciate you guys taking the time to join me here on the channel. For more information on the products used, you can follow the links below over to the Whimsy Stamps website and check it out there. Until next time, please take care.